They'll be calling me royalty.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 11th season of IRC here. We're, of course, here for round three here in Silverstone itself, one of the most, well, intricately built, purpose-built tracks on this F1 calendar, and probably one of my favorites here. Of course, I'm joined here by Deepakraj and SD. Deepak, how are you doing today?
Yep, doing really great. It's been a great weekend, and really looking forward to this race because Silverstone is one of my absolute favorites when it comes to the race tracks that we have in F1. So definitely one of my favorite tracks, and I'm looking forward to see the action.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on that, Deepak. Even I feel like this track is something special at the end of the day. And it definitely shows. I mean, the caliber of races you need to ride on this track. At the same time, the beautiful turns that we have at this track, that setup overtakes one after another. It's just one of the most interesting, one of the most challenging, and at the same time fun races that we can look forward to every single year.
Yep, exactly. So why don't we just have a look at the track characteristics if we have the track map? Let's have a look at that. So this is the Silverstone circuit. It has been quite a fantastic circuit. A lot of flowing corners. You have two DRS zones. And as you can see, there is not a lot of stop and go corners. It's just fast and flowing corners just coming after another. So yeah, the drivers really got to be on top of their game and got to have that control because you don't have a lot of braking zones to get your time back. So got to get those exits right.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you that on especially on the fact that it's so flowing. I only remember braking heavily at probably one or two corners. I think most likely just like probably like village entry into village and probably Vale at the end basically towards club. Yeah, those are the only heavy corners I remember. But yeah, let's move on towards the next part then.
Yep.
Of
So
course,
the
we're still
drivers
waiting
are
for.
in the lobby, and just a reminder: this weekend we are doing a sprint race format, which means the drivers are going to be first setting the grid based on a one-shot quali, which puts even more emphasis on not invalidating your lap, which is quite easy to do here if you think about it, because there's a lot of corners. Like I said, it's fast and flowing. It's quite easy to just slightly step over the line and just lose your lap and put yourself all the way back. But on the other side, let's say you do mess up your lap, you still got a chance. You got a 9 lap sprint race coming up, which is
Mhm.
going to set the grid order for the main race. So, uh, well, okay, I think things are getting a bit more interesting with wet one shot quality that just raises the stakes a bit more. What do you think about it?
No, that's definitely an interesting concept. Wet race is of course interesting. It just adds more dynamic to qualifying as well. And let's see who can manage that the best. Who do you think will manage that, Deepak?
Well, I mean, I'm in the blind here because I mean, almost we've got some fantastic names racing today, and almost any of them could do that. Unfortunately, that is not going to be Moto in that list of names because he has been a bit naughty in the previous 2 rounds and is serving a quali ban, which means that he will not be putting a valid lap time. But then again, fret not, it's not a really bad round to get a quali ban because, like I said, the sprint race is there to set your grid, so we can still cut his losses here.
Sorry, yeah, I'll
Right.
have to agree on.
Yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'll have to agree with you on that because I think getting a quali ban in any place. I mean,
Oof.
getting a quali ban in Monaco is just oh my god, that's the Williams losing it. I mean, it's incest conditions. That's also good because it gives hope that if the rain can stop, maybe it might shift on towards softs at the end. So we could see something dynamic happen towards the end of it. Again, we had another wet race. What is happening here?
Well, that's just Moto. He's just pulling out to the side to
Oh,
retire
okay.
so that he could serve his quali ban. And we are on with Aradia, who is now going through Woodcut right now, heading towards Stowe in this slippery Inters conditions. And definitely, I thought Helium would be up there challenging, but he just threw himself out of the contention village, which is quite weird to see. But yeah, staying onward, Aradia, here we go into the maggots and Beckett. Quite fast and flowing corner, just comes at you at lightning speed and coming to a chapel where it's quite easy to lose your car. It just slides underneath. Gotta be on the edge of the traction here. And both the Mercedes are doing really well right now as it stands. They are in 1 and 2. So let's see if they could hook up the third sector and maintain wherever they are right now.
Wait, no more property retired. So did Spanish. Did they go out with an incident, or was there another qualifying for them?
Probably they might have gone out under incident or anything of that sort, or maybe they might have just invalidated and decided to throw a call it a day. But whatever it is, the session is done, and we have Aradia who is on pole for today.
Perfect. That is amazing to hear. As we see again, Aradia putting up a stonking lap. I thought it would be a full quali. I think I was mistaken by that. But it looks like it's one shot, yeah?
Okay, so yeah, we've got Aradhya in the pole position, followed by Akash Sanavane in P2 and Simply in P3. So Simply is doing really good job in that McLaren
Mhm.
seat, putting it up in P3, and he's been doing somewhat decent. So have been a lot of the other drivers as well. It has been a bit of a tight fit, and it just keeps getting closer and closer. So yeah, gotta be looking forward for the sprint race and see what kind of
Um,
shakeup we are in for.
Is Helium participating in this one? Because I don't see him here yet.
If he is participating, I think he just had a spin, so he's further down the grid. He's gonna have to work his way up too.
Well, I mean, to be honest, last race was chaos as hell, and I think I remember it being Baku, so it makes sense that there's so many penalties being appointed.
Yep, that does happen. I mean, Baku is a circuit that goes without saying is quite a cause of chaos. It throws a lot of things at your way. So yeah, there were quite a few penalties, some interesting ones here and there, but that is all in the past. Here we are, round three, Silverstone. Right before the sprint race, we are about to start in a few moments, and I think there might be some issue with the lobby because we are seeing drivers are leaving, and we just got migrating host message. I think the streamer will be having a look at it. We'll let you know what the whole situation is. So, hi, looks like uh, my bad. I just called the wrong name. Yeah, so yeah, looks like we got some time on our hands. So, yeah, why don't we just talk about some of the best races that you've seen in this particular track?
Some of the best races. Actually, there are so many good ones. I can't
Like
remember. I
more
mean,
like moments you could say. Yeah.
good moments. I think for me, one of the best moments is, of course, has to be at the end of 2022. Even though I'm a Ferrari fan, it's still one of the best races we saw by the end when Charles was on hards and everyone else was catching up to him. Essentially, Hamilton versus Charles versus Perez. That was one of the most, uh, probably one of the best racing I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, you can't take years here.
Yep, that that is absolutely true because in the past, I mean, yes, we've had some good battles, but most of them because of the dirty air and things like that, it has always been resolved like in one or two laps. But 2022 was, well, like I said, it was quite an interesting battle. They had a lot of multi-car battles going on, and they're going lap after lap after lap, which was really nice to see, which really brought out the full potential of the circuit, if you had asked me. Because this is one of
Yeah,
those circuits where, let's say, a driver is sending it down the inside and he's making the pass, it doesn't mean you're done. You can still hang on, and if you're able to hang on, if you got the skills to do it, you can still hang on, fight back, and get the move back done. That's one of the interesting characteristics of this particular circuit.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And apart from those, I think I also remember one moment. I think it was in Lewis Hamilton's early years, 2008, if I'm not wrong, where he almost lapped the entire field in those wet conditions in Silverstone. And that was one hell of a drive from Lewis as well. And I think it was just a few, like in those years, it was just a few more, people left before he could lap the entire field, but he did lap most of them. And that was one hell of a race as well, especially because it just shows a lot of command in the wet for some of those drivers. I think I enjoyed that as well. Those are one one of the good races, back in those days.
Yep. I mean, to be honest with you, I was not following Formula One at that time, but still, I heard about that drive, which has cemented his reputation as one of the most strongest drivers on the grid. Because, like you said, in such conditions in a track like this, where traction is really important, and maintaining such dominance in such conditions, that really shows him out to be one of the greatest drivers in the current field. So, yeah, definitely quite a great performance, if you ask me.
But let's come to your favorite moment, for Silverstone. What would it be, Deepak?
Well, that's quite a lot, but I've definitely got to say the duel between Vettel and Alonso. I mean, that just went on and on, and it was quite close. Like we had two champions fighting each other neck to neck, and was quite close. Somehow they didn't make contact, but there's so many times when they're about to make contact. So yeah, that I would definitely call that as my favorite moment in this particular circuit.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think it was around the early years of 2011, 2010, 2012, something like that. But I still remember that fight like like it was yesterday. It was such a beautiful fight, and it's always Alonso. and almost Vettel at that time that gave you those fights. They were so good together. I mean, in terms of their rivalry, in terms of their driving style, in terms of their fighting style, it was perfect.
And of course, who could forget the infamous incident uh, in Stowe, not Stowe, Cops between Silverstone and between Hamilton and Verstappen. No, that is still being a flashpoint. That still brings up a lot of bad memories for both the camps, if you ask
Yeah,
me. So
yeah,
yeah.
true. I think that was the starting point which triggered everything. I think after Baku, the only thing I can remember was cops, and then everything went to hell. I'm pretty sure after that, Max Verstappen was like, "I'm never gonna let this guy overtake on me ever again." And that's when we had Monza as well.
Yep,
And
that was quite the flashpoint of the championship, and yeah,
mhm.
I mean, it just goes on to prove how awesome this circuit is and how it has a lot of stuff going for it.
Yeah, I think the fact is also that we have so many high-speed corners that moments like, I guess moments like those would shine out in a season. But again, I'll say, let's see. I think I remember one more year, 2019. It was, I guess, Leclerc first in a Ferrari. Again, Red Bull also adjusting to the Honda engine, and both the Ferrari and the Red Bull having an amazing fight, especially in those younger days when Verstappen was more, more aggressive than he is now. That was awesome, and even Leclerc defending like a lion at the time.
Yeah, I mean that was quite gloves off racing. Both were pushing out each other, and even Leclerc was like, "Okay, that's how the rules are. Let me just go on with that." So yeah, that was quite some intense racing scene there. So
Yeah,
I think the lobby is being set up in the back end. We should be getting going soon. I hope we have some more updates on that. So we'll keep you posted on that.
yeah, yeah. That's actually a brilliant, display at that time. I think a lot of people forget that. I guess a lot of fans they don't care about who wins the championship. It's more about at least race for it, and I think that's what's missing. I think the best part of 2021, regardless of whether you were supporting Hamilton or you were supporting Verstappen, is mainly because you saw a lot of actually it going down to the very end. You saw people actually fighting for a championship, considering that we were starved of that for almost 7 years with Hamilton almost dominating.
Yep, certainly. I mean, like I said, at 2020, it was like a complete intense domination, and to see some other guys coming up in 2021 and putting up a close fight. Now that was quite the season, and I'm not really sure if you could have another season like that where it's you know proper level pegging at all the rounds. That's gonna be a
Mhm.
tough one to emulate if you had to ask me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be more difficult, especially in this new era of Red Bull, where they're literally, coming up with new concepts, making themselves as competitive as they can. It is a hint of Mercedes, but almost with an unstoppable feel to it.
Yep, I mean, AT is definitely cooking up some really, really interesting stuff there. I mean, you could just see. I mean, Red Bull could have literally just, stuck to their designs. Have already had a commanding lead. They could have just evolved that design, but no, they've got to do something different. They've got to take a risk. And I mean, right now it looks like it has paid off. But of course, like they say, it's still testing, and you don't see it all until all the cards are down on the first week. So yeah, really looking forward to how that pans out.
Yeah, I think especially with that car, I love the way it looks so aggressive. It definitely channels that Max Verstappen Red Bull energy to anyone that sees that car in the rearview mirror.
Yep, I mean it's been quite an ominous start if you were to ask me, because right from the testing, everyone is like, okay, I think this championship is already written off. Like people are already just writing it off, and they're saying that it's just another year of Verstappen's year. I mean, it just shows how much that car looks to be a strong contender, and uh, how much of
Yeah,
fantastic work that engineering crew has done.
and at the same time, I think people stop doubting Verstappen's prime because Verstappen in his prime just ends up making no mistakes almost every year. So that is, one thing with Hamilton I'll say is even when Hamilton was winning races, he'd still make an odd mistake every few races. But Verstappen, even if he makes a mistake, he somehow saves his car from it. It's just it gets a little annoying.
Yeah, I mean, if you're someone who doesn't want to see Verstappen having good results, yes, it is going to be a bit annoying. But yeah, I mean, sometimes yes, even as a neutral supporter, even as a neutral guy who just wants to watch some exciting races, yes, Verstappen
Yeah,
is your enemy there. Because Bro
yeah,
doesn't just give
yeah.
up; he just keeps punching in lap after lap.
I think I heard one of my friends while he watches races to make it more entertaining, he just blocks Verstappen out of his mind, and that's fair because the TVs don't even show him anymore. He's just out there somewhere ahead. That's all you know.
Ah, well, you just got to do what you did when Mercedes were dominating. Just put a tape on
Mhm.
1 and 2 and just watch from P3. You got an exciting race on your hands.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see, is there any other moment that I can think of? One of this when I'm thinking of Silverstone, another track comes to my mind. I think I always think of Hockenheim and sort of Silverstone in sort of one category. Both of them legendary, tracks with some good racing corners.
Yep, certainly.
Especially again, I think 2019 Hockenheim was one of the best races they had in a long time because of the chaos of the whole situation. But I miss Hockenheim as a circuit. At least I think Germany should have some track on there, especially coming to the fact that Audi's joining, as well as Mercedes is on track. I think, of course, if there's so many, multiple German companies, might as well bring a German track back up and give up those German fans, which are amazing in their
EA
own way as well.
Sports. It's in the
Yep, certainly. I mean, it's been a bit of a disappointment that such good tracks like the Nürburgring and the Hockenheimring, they just being kept on the back burner. At least Nürburgring saw some action in recent years as a stopgap arrangement when some of the other circuits were not available. But yeah, I mean, those are some absolute class circuits which definitely we are missing in this calendar.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll agree with you on that point. And I'd just like to formally introduce everyone to first IRC podcast here.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that it was turning into a podcast almost.
No, we're so good at it. Yeah, yeah. How long is this podcast gonna go around? I think we're just waiting for the drivers to reset up that lobby. Of course, EA with some issues always sort of come up every race, and I think this time our boys have incurred a big one. That's why it's taking a little longer.
Yep, definitely. There seems to be sort of an issue that's going on. They're doing another lobby restart. I think this lobby is still having some issues, so they're definitely trying to, work around and get the action started. So let's see.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I mean, it's Silverstone, so I'll allow it because I love Silverstone that much.
Yep.
But yeah, as I was saying, coming to some tracks, Silverstone, let's say, I think Silverstone's one of those tracks which has stayed on the calendar for, I think, all races, if I'm not wrong, along with Monaco or
No,
Spa.
I think Silverstone has recently. I think there was a new scene in Silverstone circuit was extended for another 10 years or something of the sort. I don't really remember. There was a huge announcement, man. I forgot the year that you were saying, but they were definitely increasing the contract. So it's not like Monaco, but definitely it's got a contract on it.
No, no, I was referring to like historically, I think it stayed on the
Yeah.
calendar every year, if I'm not wrong.
Uh, nah, I definitely got to work on my history here because I'm
Oh, yeah,
I'm
fair
really
enough.
not sure of that.
Yeah, you did tell me a few minutes ago, that you didn't watch Formula One in those days, so I should expect that answer. My mistake.
I
But
mean, for me the first race that I've watched was Baku 2017. So that was the
oh,
first race
that
that
was a
I
good
had a
race.
proper broadcast experience. There was a lot of red flags and stuff, and it was a bit frustrating to watch. But once the red flags were lifted, it was quite an
Hmm.
amazing race to watch.
Yeah, that was such a good race to start Formula One in. At the same time, I'll say a very bad example of Formula One because not all races are exciting like that. And that was
Exactly.
one race. That was one
Yep.
race. I think this was the first race for Baku, which was very exciting. I think they had one in 2016, but that was boring. But 2017 is where it all hit off. I think that's the year where Vettel hit into Hamilton, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All the safety car shenanigans were happening in that one year,
Yeah.
and yeah.
And there was also a triple car overtake by Ricardo. I think, if I'm not wrong, there's so much happening in that race. That race was insane. I perfectly remember it.
Yep, that overtake you're talking about. I mean, that was quite an insane overtake, and I don't know how Ricardo had the confidence to just send it on the inside of two cars on turn one, which could have easily gone wrong. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just something else, and it's quite sad that you're missing that Ricardo right now.
Yeah, I think I have to agree on that. That early days Ricardo, he was definitely known as the one to break late. Like that was his signature move. He just broke late and he made it work somehow.
Yep. I mean, it was quite ominous to see Ricardo in your reviews because you know for a fact he's just going to send it down the inside. Like I think it was 2018 China when he
Oh
sent that
yeah.
absolute late send on Bottas, and Bottas was actually reacting to it, but still he couldn't do anything because Ricardo was determined to send it, and he sent it on the inside, which it really made it was almost a robbery if you had to ask me.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I think the fact that he sent that long one was because of Bottas being in front. I think any other driver he would have waited like a lap. Like let me just get a little bit more closer, just to make sure that he doesn't defend.
Yeah.
But I mean, I coming to those days. I think I also remember in Spain, Vettel selling the dummy to Bottas. Like he went tried to go around the inside at first, and Bottas tried to cover it, and then went to the outside. Bottas I think stayed in the middle end of the line, and then Vettel just jumped in the inside on the grass, made the move on Bottas. I just at that point I remembered, yeah, Bottas doesn't know how to drive while others are around him.
Yeah, that was quite an aggressive dummy. It was like dummy after dummy sold, and well, Bottas didn't move, but Vettel was like, okay, anyway, I'm just gonna set it on the inside. So yeah,
Yeah, those were
quite
the
some intense racing.
early days of Sebastian Vettel in Ferrari before he got depressed and became mid-tier.
Well, let's
That
not go there.
yeah, I think I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I don't care. I think one thing I mean, coming back to Vettel in those days, I think his standout performance, of course, one being what was his standard performance in those years? I think I can't remember a perfect standout performance, but he had a very good pace throughout the entire first half of the championship, as far as I remember. He was very good at that time in that car.
Uh, you're talking about 2018.
2017, 2018, yeah, both those years.
Yeah, I think I remember 2017. I haven't tracked the championship. Like I said, I just watched that one race and maybe a few races here and there. But 2018 was the championship that I started following full on. And yeah, like I said, the first half was something else. It looked like Vettel was the driver to beat. But then it's always, we've always seen that Hamilton just becomes something else in the second half of the season. Man, just somehow claws it all back. And yeah, that's what exactly happened there.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people think that Mercedes dominated those years, but it wasn't pure domination. They probably dominated at the end of it. They always had a very good development package. I think Mercedes nailed, in those years at least, nailed
I
their
mean,
development packages.
I've got to disagree here. Come on, when you're gapping the entire field by 1 second in your quali, come on, you got to accept that you're dominating. Yes, 2018 was a different thing. In the start, it was kind of level, but as the season progressed on, it just the development was just something else. It just outplaced everyone. And after that, it took 3 years, like until 2021. That too, it was an extension of that regulations for a team to even come close and challenge them. Like that just speaks volumes about how much their engineering was at that time.
Yeah, true. I mean, fair enough. You brought a point that it was an extension that brought it that close. I mean, imagine if we didn't even have that extension. We wouldn't even have 2021 then. We'd
Yep.
just have Max Verstappen 2022 world champion by beating
Just
Ferrari.
gotta thank the Asian guy who had a great idea to eat a bat. So yeah.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Thank you for that. Sorry. That caught me off guard, to be honest. I was wondering where you were leading with that. It's just,
uh, well, I
yeah,
mean, for the viewers who thought it was going away ahead, I just talked about
yeah.
COVID. So yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're Asians. We can make those jokes.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm
It's
just keeping an eye on the Tier-1 chat, and I think there's maybe some kind of a mix-up with relation to the weather setting that was done on the second lobby. So they had actually made a third lobby, and I think it should be up very, very shortly. We should be going live soon. Yeah, I think the
um,
podcast is going to be cut off, and we are going to go
yeah,
into racing action soon.
hopefully. And you know what they say, third time's a charm. So I think that's what they're banking on right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, some of IRC's races, I think. Coming to Silverstone's IRC races, I think last season we had a banger race as well in Silverstone, as far as I remember. I think almost every year in IRC at least, but Silverstone is a banger race.
Yep. I mean, and also the fact that this track has one of the higher chances for wet weather as well in the race, which means that you get some unexpected strategy calls and stuff like that happening all the time here. So uh, that's something you got to watch out for. And also the fact that this track, I mean, it's tough to bring out the safety cars, so it's not something that happens quite a lot. But still, you'll be surprised. Sometimes it just catches you off guard, like one retirement out of nowhere, and you'll get a safety car out. So in terms of planning for that, it's gonna be tough if you'd ask me.
Yeah, I'll just need a minute or two, Deepak. I'll be back.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, perfect. We are back here. I think at the moment we are facing a lot of difficulties. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think you're facing difficulty with your voice as well after that long podcast episode. So coming back to what just happened. So we just had a look through, and it looks like some of the drivers were not able to load the setups on time for the one shot quali, which meant that they had to restart this and just had to do the one shot quali again. So that's what we just seeing. We just seeing the conclusion of the one shot quali and the same result again. Aradia is on pole. So after this, we'll be going on to the sprint race. So a slight change in the order now. I think earlier it was simply in P3, now simply is in P4, and couldn't really get a glimpse of the other drivers, but I think most of them are somewhat in the similar positions by the look of things.
Yeah, but I'm happy that we're finally going to go racing because that's what we want to see now. Enough of
Yep.
qualifying, enough of podcast. Now it's time to race and time to see our boys go up in the field and go up in Silverstone.
Yep,
I think you have to
certainly.
leave it up to Silverstone to tease you like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do say right, good. You gotta wait for some good things. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely, and there are some good things to come. Hopefully, our drivers are also in the mood for some good things and definitely give us some racing action, so it makes it more worth it.
yep, really hope so. And yeah, so we should be getting the sprint started in a short while. And
Mhm.
just a reminder that there is going to be no formation lap, which means that once the lights are out, it's lights out. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think formation lap, especially with the issues going on, I think it's better if it's opted out of. But I think we're just gonna wait probably like a minute for everyone to settle up their setups and probably go racing. I think I've always found this minute to be the worst part of any race start. It's just standing there with your setup done, almost ready, and you know that it's gonna go, lights out in a few seconds. It always hits the adrenaline at least at the moment, and it's the spot which makes you super nervous, especially around your feet.
yep. I mean, I don't know about you, but I always used to have these moments where I know for a fact that I would have loaded my setup, I would have done everything, I would have checked the fuel, got the tires, everything set. But for whatever reason, my mind would be like, nah, you missed this, go back and check it again. Like, no matter how many times you do it. I think it's
Oh,
just the nervousness kicking in. So yeah, definitely this 1 minute before it's quite a nervous period if you had asked me.
yeah, definitely. I think it always leads into good things, but it's always, the restart is where I guess a lot of time you have to be aware about your surroundings, especially with this track mainly being that a lot of cars can go technically three wide or at least two wide in the first corner. So we might see a lot of action around at least the restart as well. Too much to even cover for us.
Yeah, I mean, this track first corner, considering it's a very fast right-hander, you've got to be careful of the space provided. And we are on the track, and it's five lights, and it's lights out, and we got a decent start all around. We see the McLaren behind pulling up onto the left side. I think he's just letting the car go for his actual quali band. I'm not really sure. So we see Aradia is on the lead, and King James, what a move on the curbs, just going on to the edge of the track and making that move stick. And we see his car going side by side, just wobbling all over the place, and simply barges his way through into P3. So that's some really good racing there, and we still see cars going side by side all the way through. They're still debating their positions on the track and sorting themselves out on this line. So pretty soon we'll be back to formation in a single line, but now it's just people just going all in, trying to make the best out of the start here.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the key players here, of course, is again the top two, King James and Radha Gupta. And King James, going off that amazing win in Baku, hopefully planning to get another win today as well, as we see these cars roundabout in Cops heading towards Maggots and Beckett. Look at the fine cornering, especially, okay, we have yellow flags behind. It's a Ferrari. It's Ritesh, I believe.
Yep,
He's
that's Ritesh. This is Karate of Ritesh. I think he had an incident in Cops. He's just sideways and he's just recovering back. And we see Moto, he's already back in P13 after that slow start. Talks about how much the fighting is going on, and we see him going through side by side to Stowe, but Ajax is just not having it, just sending it down the inside. But Moto has the cutback line, and he's got him beaten easy. Or has he? Oh wait! Oh my God, what just
that's
happened there?
contact between the Alpha Tauri and there is further contact between the Haas and the Alpine. Oh, that is so close.
And we got a
Oh,
VSC being called out. So yeah, I mean that was quite an interesting sequence of events. I just thought that Haas of Ajax was just trying to fight it back. It looks like he was almost about to take out and Moto was clearly reacting to it. But there was another incident on the inside which had caused that retirement. So we already, I mean, I don't think there's a was that retirement? I don't think there's any
No,
retirement here.
it's not a retirement, I think, but wings are gone, definitely. You see the Alpine coming in as well. It's going to be such a long time before they reach back to the pits if they've got any damage, because they had contact at probably it was Club, right?
It was Vale Chicane,
Yeah,
which
Vale,
is
Vale.
right after the pit entry. So yeah, you've got to do
Yeah.
a full lap to get back.
Oh,
As
look
you
at
can see
that.
here on the screen, Faizan just struggling without a wing, and it's gone green flag, which is why there was a little nudge from the back, and he's gonna be really struggling here through these corners without the front wing, because we're coming up to Pops, which is where you need a lot of the downforce, and Magus and Beckett's where again it's most paramount to have as much
Yeah.
downforce as you could. And he's going to be struggling through here. The Albion got to watch out, as you just see that Mohan had a little moment there, and that's going to cause even more problems here. And
I was about to say, if I was that Haas, I'll be very careful going around Maggots and Beckett's, especially since we know that Red Bull does not have a front wing. He's gonna break, very waverly. And oh wow, that's it's getting very close between these cars right now, as we see them definitely on the edge right now of making moves. We're seeing, of course, Red here making a move on Helium right now. Helium somehow has reached to P4. I didn't even notice that. As we see Red almost eyeing a move on the inside, but decides not to go for it. A little too far back for that move, buddy. But you'll get your chance because DRS is activated and he will get DRS. I think so will Helium as well. As said, the DRS train about his form right behind Aradhya Gupta, who is in very deep threat at this point.
Yep. Oh, that was very close from Catty. It seems like it was in two minds whether to send it on the inside or not, and it almost ended up in contact. But he somehow recovers that, and both Aston Martins are running rank and file together in P78, and he's gonna have a good run on the inside. Now, where have we seen this before? He is going down the inside, and he's easily got that move. No side by side, no controversy, no action here, but he's got that move slam dunk easy, straight and done.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a brilliant move, especially on any move on Cops is a brilliant move, to be honest. But just the way Catty had that confidence under braking and with the throttle inputs definitely showed that he wanted that move and he got it. We see again SJ Assassin now going for the move on Stowe at this stage, and it looks like he's trying to get a cut back line but doesn't manage to. And will he send one on the inside? He does! He sends one on the inside and gets the move done, but he's still fighting through. As we see, Akash Sarwane and SSJ Assassin still fighting through, and SSJ Assassin gets that position out of the final corner. Amazing racing from both these drivers.
Oh, and SSJ has made a mistake. He's going to open him up for an attack in this coming section, and thus Akash ended, kind of, but not really. Now he could set a switch back, but SSJ is parking it in that apex, blocking the cutback line. So yeah, some proper elbows are racing going on here, though.
Yeah, definitely. This is what we love to see, and they're giving it as much as they can, as clean as they can, and we're definitely seeing a lot of good wheel-to-wheel moves being made. Probably some of the best, but we see some real contact as well, as Tanish probably got a bump from Akash on Eric, telling him to go as quickly as possible. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, Akash
probably got a whole second. Yeah.
I think he might have made a mistake. I think it was fun because his car was slightly good because he was along with SSJ and somehow he didn't.
Yeah,
maybe something's gone wrong.
Yeah, something's gone wrong for him. Probably right for Tanish and Moto.
Yeah, exactly. One man's misfortune is another man's luck. And we see three cars going through with nose and tail tightly packed together through Max and Beckett. It's quite a sketchy place to be that close, as we saw when we are facing further. And we see these two cars are making easy pass on that Haas. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Haas of Ajax, but he's gonna fight this one out on the inside. Oh, and very nearly makes contact, but just stops right before that. So far so good, but he's definitely losing some ground here.
Yeah, I think they forgot to turn on equal cars, and that's why the Haas was struggling in that straight line. As if Simply's on board. Simply still stuck behind, King James. Can we go back to tires and let's see who's on which tire? Because I think King James is on a medium. Oh no, they're on softs. Most of them are on softs. Interesting. I thought this would be a medium hard, but I guess a lot of people. Okay, there's yellow flag.
Got a reminder. This is still a sprint race. So.
That's Mohan, as we're speaking about equal performance. He spins out, And that Haas isn't looking as competitive as it was a few days ago. As Faizan
And we
hits the
see two cars
pass.
going side by side. That's Simply and Helium, was it? Not really sure. We just saw two cars going side by side through cops. I don't know who that were. Uh, I think it was Simply and Helium. Not really sure.
Yeah, how is just give me a second. Is that Helium versus Red right now?
Yep,
Helium
that's
is fallen far bit, yeah. As we there's contact between the drivers. Oh, that was the simply going on move on King James getting contact and then another driver getting involved in it. I think was it Motomoto getting touched?
I
Who
think
was
it
it?
was. I think it was basically the leaders had a bit of a crash, and the McLaren of Simply got collected in that. And just like that, the Mercedes lead of Aradia is now replaced by the Mercedes of
Oh,
Red, who is now in the lead, who is being chased hot by Helium, who is on the soft, which is going to be a bit on the
oh.
tail of its life. But still, it's got to have enough with the DRS and everything to make an attack. So far, it looks like Helium has a good chance of taking the sprint win here.
Oh, that is gonna bite those, front runners. Almost again, losing the lead of the race as we see Helium. Oh, getting very close to Red there. I think Red is doing a very good job defending against those mediums, but again, it's Helium right now that we're talking about. His pace is legendary and phenomenal, as is Catty's, as he's waiting for a move as well. On I think he's gonna go for it.
Oh,
There's some real contact though, and that stops Catty's amazing momentum down towards cops. But you see Helium going off track, probably getting a warning for that one as we see these times getting ready for Maggots and Beckett. Oh, there's another guy fighting Catty as we see Radhya trying to go for moves on Catty, but oh, that was a bad place to go for a move as we see DRS activated for all three drivers. Now they're on the charge for red. As we see, Aradhya getting a very good straight line speed on that car. I think he's definitely maximized his straight line speed for that car. He's very quick on those straights. Oof, it is getting very close between these drivers. And Deepak, you can take over the starting.
Oh yeah, it's certainly getting very tight, and Aradhya is just not bothering about where to overtake or not. He's just sending him wherever he's seeing a gap, and he's going through turn one side by side. Oh, and that's definitely not going to end up well. And there he is spun around. That's definitely not a place where you want to be side by side. And I think maybe Caddy could have done a bit better there, but that's for the stewards to dissect and decide later on. On track, the action is still on. The battle for the lead is still not dead yet. Helium is powered by the DRS, and he is trying his level best to get that move done. But maybe Red's medium is gonna help him out over here because he is gonna have a slightly better tire on there compared to Helium Soft, which is going to be slightly towards its end of the life. I mean, I wouldn't say end of the life, but slightly worn out, I could say. So maybe that medium could come in clutch for Red here.
Yeah, I think you can even see Helium's sort of drifting his car a little there, trying to get as much as performance. But I think the Red is definitely in that safe zone right now, where he is definitely ready to win that race. But as I'm saying that Helium is still very close to Red. That he's just 1/8, basically 2/10, almost 2/10 off. Now 3/10 off. But yeah, we are definitely seeing Helium getting ready to go for a move as he goes for a move on the inside, gets the lead at the
Oh,
last few corners. But I think Red is still going to give it. Helium has to defend on the inside. Will Red go for a move on the inside? He doesn't go for it. That is interesting as we see Helium round up the final corners of this sprint to get that win. One
well,
lap to make a
he's
difference.
got one more lap, but yeah, I
Oh
mean,
wait,
it looks like it's almost a done deal as it stands.
oh wow, I okay. Uh, okay, as we're on board, Moto again, very close to these drivers and definitely on point with his strategy as he's coming from literally the back of the field to P4, almost close to Helium at this
Well,
stage.
now he's going to be P3 because Catty has just got 6 seconds for a track limit violation, so which means that Moto is technically in P3 right now.
I think he's going to get a perfect line into Lutfield as we're going to see him charge towards Catty and towards Cops. He's probably going to be side by side towards this corner. Probably not the best corner. Oh, it looks like he's lacking a little bit of straight line speed. Probably had some issues on the exit of the three corners as he goes wide. Has to lift off a little to avoid a warning there, hopefully. And again, we see the drivers very close. Still, Red is close in that competitive range of those mediums, but I wonder how long will it take for him to overtake Helium as he now has DRS following Helium towards the back straight, but still not close enough to make a move. As you see, since the assassin
That's
trying to make a
Danish
move
and
from.
SSJ making a fight, and Danish just making a move around the outside and store corner. So some brilliant racing going all through the field. It's quite tough to focus which side because there's, as you can see, the timing screen. There's like a ton of battles going all through.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of enjoyable battles, especially the fact that every battle we see there are more than two drivers on there. As we see yellow flags, who is it? Is it Ajax? Yeah, at the last corner, and he's now heading towards Whale. It's just sad to see for the Hearts boys. They had a very crappy sprint race, and I think if Gunter was here, he'd say a few words to them right now.
Which he is not. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So coming on to the on-track action, the top four still remain glued together, powered by the DRS, just pulling them along. Helium is being the head of the straight right now. He's just pulling all these guys together, and it looks like, I mean, again, it looks like Helium's got it, but still, does Red have something in his reserves here to pull out? Because again, if he has enough ERS, he could send one
Yeah.
Hail Mary into Stowe. That's got to be a very critical. Now, Helium has got 35 ERS. Could you have a look? Oh, there's a bit of contact, and they've got to be very careful here. So that contact might have definitely dampened the momentum a little bit for Red, but still, he's going for it. He's definitely going for the Hail Mary here.
Yeah, and he's got to go for a move on the outside with DRS over there. Helium defends very vividly, but Red gets a better total output and recent contact is in the wall. There goes a lot of positions for Red as there's heavy contact between Helium and Red pushing him over, and we see Helium rounding up the final corner. Catty still right behind but can't make any move of it as Helium comes around the final corner to take P1, followed by Moto and Red in P. Oh, what? Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's
P2
just SSJ finishing in his usual style. So we've got everyone just coming together because the pack was so tight. It didn't really get a lot of chance to spread out a lot. So behind we still got a pack of cars that's still fighting together to sort out the positions. They're very, very close to each other and they're just rounding off the track right now.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, of course, as you mentioned, I didn't know Dipanshu was that far back. To be honest, I didn't see Dipanshu doing much today, but he's definitely coming on P19 right now. He must have had some injury that pushed him far back, but that's just a sad day for the Alpine. Again, I was an Alpine driver, so I feel bad as well. Being an Alpine is just unlucky right now.
Yeah, that was quite a debatable show. I mean, the camera angles that we got to see was not exactly very clear whether Red had a bit of a moment there that slapped him over there, or was it Helium who had the moment and turned it on to Red. But whatever it is, that was quite a spicy end to the race. Definitely, I mean, it might have not been that enjoyable for Red considering he was just almost sent to the wall, but he still cut his losses considering he's still in P3. So not a lot lost there. Maybe a bit to his ego that he might have lost what could have been a win, but still he's got a lot to play for considering that the main race is coming up right now.
I mean, I think there's definitely a penalty. Let's say if there was, some foul play from Helium, that there's definitely a penalty coming up for him. Might affect even his sprint results. Might push, Moto ahead, depending on what happens once we see some more camera angles of that incident. That's again later decided by the stewards. But yeah, definitely one hell of a sprint event. It was interesting till the far end, especially with Red giving that last lunge towards Stowe Corner. Probably a good move, but a move not completed at least.
Yep, certainly. I mean, we saw that coming a mile away. I did say that he's gonna just explode all his ERS and try to do one final attack, which he did, and Helium did really well to block the inside, and he did almost well enough to cut that the switchback line that Red was going for. But I think there was a little bit of a moment on the traction because that corner it's quite easy to do it. Your car is very unloaded on top of the crest, and it's really very easy to just lose your car and have a bit of moment there, which could have caused that whole incident. But anyway, that is done. And interestingly enough, after that chaotic sprint race, we are back to business as usual in terms of tier 1. Because if you think about it, we got Helium in pole and Moto in P2. After all that chaos, somehow he's back in P2 and got Red in P3. And we got a few wildcards down, like we got Deepakraj who's at P9. 19. He's definitely one who could make some progress in the race. And we also saw King James, who was an unfortunately lost out in that incident in Stowe, which means that he also got quite a bit of a recovery drive coming up in front of him.
With Silverstone, I always say this with race starts: you either want to be at the very front or at the very back, but never in the middle, because that's where all the chaos happens.
Yep, certainly. I mean, if you're able to streak away from the pack, good on you. Or just stay far away from the pack. You don't want to be in that pack because as we just saw in that race start, turns 1 to 4 gets quite congested. Like you can see people going like 2 or 3 wide through some very, very tricky zones where you don't really have a lot of space for yourself. So yeah, if you're gonna be in the midfield, then yeah, better pray and hope you have a good turn of luck in that
Yeah.
place.
Especially considering even IRL, turns 1 to 4 is always messy for those drivers. So you can imagine, okay, as we're ready to go, lights out, we're waiting on the fire lights to start this Grand Prix. And it is lights out, and away we go as we see Helium get a good launch, but Moto trying to defend his line, gets that P2 position secured. Helium still in P1. Now Moto is all over the back of Helium. Helium defending a little aggressively, hoping to stop Moto's touch, but Moto is definitely side by side almost. Getting through those corners, Moto is ahead of Helium. He's gotten P1. As we see Stanish go on the inside of Red, getting those move done, as we see Williams almost overshadowing the Mercedes as Stanish goes around the inside. Oh, but gets blocked by Helium. I wonder if that's going to help Red right now as we see yellow flags somewhere. And Kasarwan is out. He's out.
Okay, that's quite interesting. And we got a VSC. Okay, now how is this battle going to be resolved? I think Red wasn't P3 and VSC came out. So yeah, we got a VSC and Akash Sunavane is already out of the race. So yeah, something really weird happened in the back, clearly. But man, what a start! So Helium had a bit of a movement through that village section, and Moto did not need a second invitation. He just went for it, and what a move! Just made around the outside on a heavy traction zone, and he clearly beat him on the traction. So that was quite a nice move. And of course, yes, Stanish had an amazing peak onto Red. He almost had that move sorted, if not for the tire advantage, and of course.
Oh wait, Helium's gone. Helium's DNF'd.
He just disconnected. It's not a DNF. He just disconnected. So wait, but it's counted as a DNF.
Yeah,
wait, that's interesting.
Okay,
that is very, very interesting indeed.
They're pitting. Is the race still on, or is there something we're not aware about? I wonder.
I mean, it's still in full course yellow. You're still seeing a virtual safety car. The drivers are not attempting to make a pass. So it looks to be a full course yellow, but I'm not really sure what exactly happened with Helium. It seems to be found out.
Yeah, that completely spoils all the fun because I was hoping for Helium and Moto to give some close racing in Silverstone. That's my hope for the day, but it looks like that's over with. But we'll still move on as we see Red on those mediums again. Red will have probably the inverse effect that he got in the sprint. He's gonna have better tires now, and Moto's gonna have better tires later, and Red just has the. Oh, we see some oversteer for SLJ. He almost loses his rears there, but had to control it to get away from, well, at least crashing out. As we see Dark Knight again fighting with Radha Gupta. Radha Gupta making a brilliant move down towards the inside of Cops as he is now going through Maggots and Beckett's. And again, it has to be very careful, especially around the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. You want to make sure you maximize that so you don't get overtaken in the next DRS straight. As we see Aradhya Gupta getting closer, inching closer and closer to destroy track. Will he go for a move in the inside? Not yet. He's not that close yet, but he is definitely close enough to go for a move on the inside if he wills to. But unfortunately decides not to go for it. Not yet, at least.
Yep, and we see a move made by SSG Assassin on the outside of the final corner, and Tanis, that's not a place where you see a lot of moves being made. So definitely it must have been either a mistake from Tanis or SSG just had that much of a brilliant drive through there. So either way, he's made the move stick, and we are entering lap 3, which means that the DRS is now enabled. So the cars that are trailing are going to have DRS boost available now, which means that they're going to be very, very close to each other. And this is one of those tracks where DRS is going to be very crucial. And as you can see, King James is now creeping up on Catty, and he just makes the move easy. But is Catty going to fight it back? I don't think so. He's got the line properly secured and is not side by side enough to fight that out. But as I was saying, the TRS is quite vital here, considering the fact that it's very tough to regain your ERS. Considering that there is not a lot of braking zones here, which means that your ERS is going to be expended a lot more, and you're going to have a tough time recovering. So you're going to use all the assets that you're going to get, which includes the DRS. So it's going to be very critical for these guys to stick within that range.
And as we have a moment to breathe, I think we will also point out that Noma Propli is back in P12. So he's definitely had a better start than his last sprint start, and definitely eyeing to make some moves. As we see Aradhya Gupta go and move on the outside of Catty, both of them have DRS, but again Aradhya Gupta has that insane straight line speed and gets it done. As we see him now charge out towards King James. Where have we seen this before? It's back. It's back. The fight of the sprint races, the fight that was incomplete. Let's hope they can complete it now. As we see Aradhya Gupta inching closer towards King James, both of them have made a miraculous comeback from that incident.
Yep, and I see the Ferrari is going at each other. Dark Knight is standing on the inside. Ritesh is still fighting it out with a better tire on the outside. He just almost squeezes Dark Knight to the edge of the track just to get his better line. But Dark Knight seems to be having the better traction through here, even though he is on the harder compound compared to both of these guys. So this is going to be a tough battle to resolve. But right now with the DRS, Dark Knight just makes that move done. But Ritesh is definitely not going to give this up that easy. He's still hanging on to it. He's trying to make a move on the outside, but he's not having that advantage right now. So he's just got to have to sit back right now. But looking at his ERS, he's definitely turning on the overtake. He's definitely eyeing him in. He's not going to give this one up. So yeah, teammate battle going on here.
Yeah, definitely. Multi 21. Darcy, multi 21.
This is a very confusing and a very tough spot to be in, because you got a driver who's on a faster tire, but he's not that quick enough. He's struggling. But you got a driver on a slower tire who seems to be having the confidence to go ahead. So it's quite a confusing situation to be in. But no more pro player is here to make advantage of that confusing situation. He's using that soft tire to its absolute limit, and you can see he's already gained one position. Now he's on the hunt for Dark Knight here.
Yeah, that if I was the Ferrari team boss right now, I'd be showing my, I'll be tearing my hair off or something, because that fight between the Ferraris left them exposed to the Alpine, and the Alpine, what a brilliant move, I must say. He had so much control over the traction, and as we see SimplyYT going for a move on the inside of the Ferrari, it's pain over and over again for Ferrari as he gets overtaken, 2 positions lost in the span of 1 lap. As he's got 2 more cars right behind him, Ritesh has to come back into this, fight one more time, come back into this fight with more pace, or he's going to lose even more positions as Ajax gets a 3-second warning.
Yep, that was a brilliant move from Simply. He just had it eyed up and lined it up perfectly into the village corner. And we see Red is hot on the tail of Moto. They are not separated by that much. It's just 2 tenths. All it takes is just one little slip up, one little mistake, and the lead is swapped around. So right now it looks like Red seems to be having the pace advantage with the tires. Could you have a look at the tires, please? Yep, so Red is definitely having the better tires right now, but for how long, that's you gotta see. But right now with the DRS, he is definitely going to be having a good run through here. Moto just lets him through because he knows for a fact it's tough to fight right now, and it will come back to him. So he just got to bide his time for now.
Yeah, Shubkumar, spins out right now. I was about to say there's another spin by I guess the Haas, quite later down the field, but there's another spin as Shubkumar loses a wing. And we see Dark Knight. Dark Knight is getting overtaken right now. He somehow lost his pace against Ritesh, and now Simply is overtaken him. And so is No More Pro P. He's in P9 right now, but I think Dark is waiting for a move right now. Oh, I thought he lost his car there for a second.
Yep, it looks like Andy just dumping him on the inside. Simply is just leaving him just that enough space to not have a contact, but he still has the better line, and he is holding on to the place for now. And we see Deepanshu, who took an absolute wild strategy call by starting on softs. He seems to be in P9, but Simply is now hot on his tails. He's going to be having an easy run through there as Deepanshu's softs are slowly dying off with each lap.
Yeah, definitely. I think now is the time where the soft run is. I think there are maybe one more soft runner out there, but their pace would be sort of dying off as we see Shubkumar got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is further pain for an Alpine that's been stricken with bad luck. Again, you don't want to be an Alpine, buddy.
Definitely things are not going that great for them. Although one Alpine got a 5-second penalty, one Alpine isn't beaten, but it's in a very, very poor strategic position right now. And I see Moto is reclaiming the lead with the DRS. So a bit of a DRS back and forth going on here right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think DRS is helping him this time, but I wonder if Red has still got a little bit more pace to get another move done. Because again, you have to wonder at some point his tires are gonna die off, and then Moto's gonna fly into the sunset. We're waiting for Red to see what he's got, and he's definitely using a lot of DRS. Can we go to Moto for checking his DRS level? 79. Who is that in the front? Which car is that?
I think that's Shubkumar who just came out of the pit, so he's very close to getting lapped. That's not looking good for him.
Okay, I was like, where's the Williams for this one? For a second, I thought Williams just joined back in P1. But yeah, Moto definitely looking like the favorite choice at this moment to win this race. And that would be redemption for Moto as the last two races he's had has been, well, let's say it's not been great at all for Moto. And I think this is what he's been looking for, a way to come back, charge back again up the field. And this is it. This is his final moment. He has to keep this race extremely clean and precise just to make it work out. But the race is still too far, from being over. As we're on board, no more trophy, and some, a lot of drivers are getting closer. As we see Red getting ready for a move on the inside. Moto tries not to defend. Again, he doesn't want to make any mistakes that will cost him. Tries to get a better line towards Stu, but again, Red defending like like a lion. Again, I don't like saying that, but it works so well on these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, we just saw a DRS swap happening there. So, Moto again playing it smart, not fighting it too hard, not losing a lot of time, just trying his level best to get that move done without losing a lot of time, which is a bit of a smart play because he's going to have his chance. It's definitely going to be coming towards him with the DRS and everything. But again, now if you look at the track map, I think these guys have a bit of distance to go. But if they close to Shubkumar, that's going to be a different thing. But now we see Moto is again with the DRS. No ERS, nothing of the sort, just the DRS. It's enough to just power him through in front of Red. And yeah, now it's all about making a decisive break, if you were to ask me, because if Red stays in the DRS, it's going to be again, it's going to be stuck in a stalemate. He's going to make the pass. It's going to be going back and forth. But if Red makes a mistake, or if SSG Assassin can do something there, then Moto is free.
I think if I was Red, I'll probably start working on saving my tires at this stage. Just because I want to make sure that I have some pace to be close to Moto towards the end of this thing. Because again, Moto is going to come out on those fresh mediums by the end of it. And again, Red is going to go on to those hard. So if I was Red, I'd focus, okay, as we're seeing, Red is definitely starting to follow through Moto, stay in his DRS, stay attached to him towards his back. The one thing he doesn't want to do is let Moto go flying off into the sunset. And as we see SimplyYT, the other McLaren, trying to go for a move on the Alpine of Deepanshu, but Deepanshu is still fighting on those softs. And I think that's incredible, the fact that the Alpine is still fighting on those softs, considering Simply is on the hard right now, which would be the better tire. No questions asked.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw how much the distance was getting closed down on the traction zone, which just shows that the tires are not working. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a done move once we clear the village section. So once we go through loop, Simply is going to have the brilliant traction. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to have ERS also available to him, which means that he could make a piecemeal out of this if he wants to. He's applying his overtake. He's going for it. He's sending it on the inside, and that is almost done. But Deepansh is still hanging on. He's just poking his nose. He's just putting himself there, and he's still fighting it out. Wow, this is some fantastic battle going on here. Some proper gloves of racing. These guys are just giving it all right now, all for a P9, if you think about it.
Every point matters in this race, and every point matters for Alpine and McLaren, as they are looking as the favorites going into the season. But definitely, okay, yellow flags. Okay, that's another half. Never mind.
Oh, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad saying that it's another half. Never mind. But Yeah, it's been a torrid day for those guys. I definitely I hope they have a better race the next one at least. But we see Deepakraj is still not given up on this, considering he's on tires that
Yeah.
are pretty much at the end of their life. He's not going to go out without a fight for this one, and simply almost dodges a bullet there. And up ahead, the lead swapped once more. Now it's Red in the lead, and Moto is still trailing him. And so, how many times do you think we're going to see this lead swapped over again?
Yeah, it is happening a little too often to the point where I don't want DRS to be a thing anymore. As you're seeing, this DRS abuse going on by these drivers. It's just an easy DRS pass. But surprisingly, Red still gives it away. Like, he's not even fighting it at this stage. Come on, guys, fight a little bit more. We want to see some action. Forget your tires for a second.
Yeah, and this is just bunching of the entire field. You can see that like up from P1 to P7, it's just one long DRS train, and they're getting compressed even more and more with all of this going on. So I think it's a bit of a smart play to not fight that hard. But how long can these guys keep it up? Now that's the question. Because like I said, all it takes is one mistake, one guy poking his nose somewhere, and it's done. And you see yellow flag.
Yeah,
And
that's a
VSC.
safety car. Oh my god. Okay, this is gonna bring everyone into the pits. The pit zone is gonna be a frenzy at this stage. If it's not, then I'll be very surprised by the strategy.
Oh
Like
well,
every single
Shivkumar has lost his front wing. So I guess that was the reason why we got the VSC right now. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a godsend for Red. If you were to ask me, he
speeding in
got a
the
free
pit
pit
lane.
stop. And well, yes, everyone is coming to the pit lane. And oh
Oh!
no! Oh god, that was unnecessary. Oh man. So one thing you got to remember in this particular pit lane is it's not an 80 kilometer per hour pit lane, but it's a 60 kilometer per hour pit lane, which seems to be catching all the drivers off guard as you see 5 second pit lane just lighting up our screens here. So yeah, people definitely are in a very big rush to just get the tires and go out.
Cat is the only one that has, doesn't have that issue, but I think Catty had contact with the wall. So I'm not sure if that's going to be damage for Catty there.
I think that was
Oh, wow.
SSJ. I'm not sure.
Oh.
I don't think Catty boxed. He stayed out, and now he's in the lead.
Oh.
Could you have a look at the tires, please?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. It was SSJ. Wow, that is gonna. Actually, to be honest, this pit stop cost them a lot more than I thought it would. Those 5 second penalties are definitely gonna cause a lot of issues.
Yep, certainly. And we see Red, who was in the lead, who's now effectively in P3, considering that Moto is in the lead right now. And SSJ is still fighting it out with Red. Both are on cold, hard tires, which is really not really good time for these guys to be pushing, but these guys do not care because it's track position overall. And oh, that was very close. That was very, very, very close. But for that Mercedes to get wrecked into that inside wall, there was no tail contact, which could have ended really, really bad.
Yeah, you have to leave the space. Every time you have to leave the space, Red. Come on.
Well, to be honest, he did not have to leave the space. I mean, because he had a clear advantage there, so he was entitled to take the line. But again, it's one thing to be right, but it's one thing to be staying alive in the race. I would say
Yeah,
I would take the latter over staying correct. So yeah.
I just took that chance to quote Alonso in Alonso's car.
Yeah,
but
definitely one of the favorite quotes. And we see SSJ is still hanging on to it. They're separated by a very, very short gap, which is just disappearing every now and then. So yeah, it's that VSC definitely did throw a bit of a spanner into the works. But I think everyone got neutralized by everyone getting a 5 second penalty. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I still find it funny seeing that car go into the wall at the pit stop. It's still funny in my head, but we're seeing, there's some contact between SSJ and Red as we see SSJ now getting a lot more frustrated by this car in front. He knows he's got a 5 seconds, and if SSJ wants some position just to clear Red as quickly as possible, but Red is not making it easy. As the pit is on the side. Oh, SSJ saved it. Oh, that was a good counter move there. Counter.
What are we doing here, guys? Racing out ping pong. Come on.
Now you're supporting
Sorry, I had to
Sebastian
quote
Vettel in that Aston Martin. Again, the connections are being made there.
But yeah, I mean that was some intense racing going on. Like SSG was just egging him on through that traction zone, so just pushing him forward, just doing a bump draft, just giving the hurry up, just keep going. But that send on the inside, I thought that was definitely going to end up in tears for both of them. But somehow SSG saved that. But he's got to be careful. He's getting very restless right now.
Oh yeah, that move was done. I think SSJ was like that. Just shows SSJ. He's like, get out of my way. I want to go out very quickly. I don't want to deal with you any further. And this it's just the pace of that Aston is just showing up right now, and with those with those hearts cooking up right now. I think SSJ is cooking up a little bit more as we see him clear off in well almost 5 tenths away from red. As if I was red, I'd want to stay as close as I could. And I think I saw a purple sector for SSJ in that section. I'm not sure. I think it was.
Oh, and there's a battle going on right now. These cameras are really not doing the justice here. This is Deepakraj just going on the outside of the final corner. Again, that's not the place where you want to be side by side too. And you're just sneaking up a move on the outside on Sandeep Merida, who is on the hard tires. He's going on the inside. He's launching a send from way far back, and now it's 3 wide through the village and loop section. And Deepanshu is just making up 2 positions, or maybe, wait, no, he does do that. He jumps up 2
Oh
positions in
my!
the span of just 2 corners, all because those 2 guys are fighting out quite extremely over there. And you see Dante Adams just having a spin. He's recording back onto the track, so no harm done there. But he's definitely lost some positions here. But wow, what's going on in the track here, man?
Oh my God, that was my favorite move of this race. I won't lie. That move was too sexy to be. And there's nothing in contention there. As we see Tarish get a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Oh wow! I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, must have made a move on the yellow flag zone. So the game does penalize you if you make a move when you're through a yellow flag zone. So yeah, definitely he has got a penalty for that. But yeah, that Deepanshu overtake was definitely the true Lewis Hamilton moment of this game. That asked me. Like 2 cars up here just crapping on like there's no tomorrow, and the car behind just capitalizes on that. And you see SSJ just sliding it all over the place. Man is on a show off right now. He's doing everything he could to close on the gap and get on the back of Cornish.
Has he made a mistake? Because wasn't he right behind the red or right ahead of red? I think he made a mistake.
I think so. I mean, looking at how his car is sliding around all over the place, I think he might have made a mistake. And we did see Catty, who was the race leader, who had come into the pits, and he has gone on to a set of mediums, which is a really good choice. I mean, if it was someone else, maybe they might have hung on for a safety car, which could have been a viable option. But again, this track is not somewhere you get safety cars that easy. So it makes more of a, it brings more understanding towards the decision to box right now.
I think definitely the contender for the race win here has to be red. He's on the favorable compound at the same time he's just 4 seconds behind Moto, who has a 5-second penalty. I think it's all in red's favor right now, and red has to be the driver to make the logical decision now and go for a safe race, so he can end up finishing in P1, which would be interesting.
Yep, definitely. I mean, as you see, Red just making an easy slam dunk move on Ritesh, who is unable to compete there. So, yeah, I think Ritesh is just going to be trying his level best to hang on to the DRS and keep it going. And like you said, interesting point, Red is not having a penalty on his team. He definitely had practiced his pit lane entries by the look of things, because he did not speed into the pit lane, and he does not have a penalty on him. But he's got to be careful so that he doesn't accrue any track limit penalties, which could be playing spoil sport at the end of the race for him.
Yeah, definitely. And another quick driver who is looking as a threat for the top 3 is, well, essentially for Moto is King James. He's also just like almost 2 seconds away from red, and if he ends up catching a little bit more, I can definitely see Moto in a lot of trouble right now with the 5-second penalty.
Yep, I mean, King James has proven himself to be quite an able racer in the past few rounds. So yeah, definitely he is not someone who you should be discounting right now, because we've got 11 more laps to go, and anything could happen in that time that we have.
Yeah, definitely.
We
anything.
See another move happening between Catty and Destroyer Rack. Catty just making that move before Cobb's corner and just making that move easy at Destroyer Rack, not fighting that out too much. So that's a move done undusted.
Yeah, I have to say I love these camera angles through maggots and beckets. It always looks like these F1 cars are drifting towards this corner. It's like it's just almost at the edge of losing the car, but it is always beautiful to see that corner. And I was seeing King James. What is happening here? They're pitting.
King James has disconnected, and King James had decided. I think the Ferrari of Ritesh had decided to box, and for whatever reason, King James AI also decided to box, which has really thrown his race into the pit.
Yeah, it has. I think I wonder if he had some front wing damage, King James. No, he did not. Then why
Oh,
did
it's
they
going
pick?
for a soft. Oh my god, what is this AI doing?
Yeah, AI is definitely making some moves there. Future of the human race, boys.
I mean, it is. It's still an okay tire choice considering it's just 10 laps. But why? He was already in a good spot. I mean, I could not understand the reasoning behind that. But that disconnection happened. Could not have happened at a very very worst place because it happened right before the pit lane entry. For the AI to do some dumb moves like that, and yeah, he's definitely going to be kicking himself after that.
Yeah, don't worry, King James. You can get that replay of that AI doing that in the stream itself. But as we move now onboard SSD Assassin, who is just 6 tenths behind Tanish right now, who I guess SSJ has caught up back, but he's got that 8 second penalty, which is gonna haunt him forever. That is in this race, especially if there's a safety car that comes in, which is something that these drivers would not want at all. Especially, I think Moto would like it because he would then serve his 5 second penalty by taking quick pit. But yeah, the rest of the drivers would not.
Yep, definitely. I mean, if it's a safety car right now, of course, it's going to be another blitz into the pit lane. Everyone's going to go for the soft tires. But then again, in your rush to get that soft tires, how many people get even more 5 seconds? That's something that's going to be an interesting thing to look out for. But that is, if the safety car comes out, which we know is quite tough to happen in this track. If anyone wants to prove us wrong, well, now is the right time to do so.
Yeah, as we see, I think the track has gotten a little, I would say, cold, a little calm now, as we see, gaps being formed.
Yep.
And yeah, the racing, although it's been great, it ceased a little here. But again, it just takes one safety car to change that all. But we'll see what can happen. It just right now, it's more about surviving than making a mistake. As we see, Stanish, yeah, the only people who are close to each other is
SSJ and
SSJ
Danish are still
Tanish,
going
yeah.
at it. They are within the DRS range, but other than that, I'm not really seeing a lot of DRS stuff going on. So we've got Aradhya Gupta who's behind King James, but King James is on AI by the look of it. He hasn't joined back, so that will be nothing to mention of. And we've got Santi who's chasing after Deepanchu also in the DRS zone, so that could be something to look out for.
Yeah, definitely. Sandeep Maradu having a decent race at this stage. Definitely a wild card in that mix, and he will make it play to his commands. As we see SJ Assassin going for a move on Danish, gets it done. Easy pass with the DRS for SSJ as he's showing some incredible pace at this stage of the race. Definitely SSJ is on, well, he's on a mission at this stage, I'll say that.
Yep, I mean, right now his priority would be to pull up a gap as much as he could and minimize the damage of the 8 second penalty, but I'm not sure how much he's gonna be able to do it because right now he's not got DRS. Tarnish is now on a faster tire. He's gonna have the DRS, and we all know very much what happened the last time Tarnish and SSJ was fighting in Baku. It ended up in tears. So yeah, I really hope Tarnish has learned his lesson and is a bit more calm on the attack. But as you can see right now, he's closing up.
Oh wow!
Oh
my
no!
God! As you say it, oh wow! Who was that other car? It was Catty. It was Catty being taken out as well. Oh my God! It's a safety car. It has to be.
It isn't. And I mean, luckily enough, no one DNF'd out of that whole exchange over there. Somehow Danish is still alive. He's lost his front wing, but still alive. That's the most important part. He could still end up getting some points. But wow, that was.
It was a late defense by SSA, I will say it. And that just threw Tanish completely
Tanish is
off.
doing some interesting stuff here right now. He's just deciding to just. He's like, I don't want to do anything with this chapel and maggots and vegetables. I just want to cut straight through. Which is kind of understandable with the front wing damage, but still, I mean, why would you want to do that?
I mean, luckily these floors don't get damaged, so that makes sense for me. But oh my God, that was again it ended in tears for Tanish. But it wasn't. I would say it was completely his fault this time.
Again, that is something for Stewards to decide because again, with the limited angle that we got, it sort of looked like something is going on. And we see King James who has joined back, and he's going to be definitely red with the same color as his tire. Looking at how far he's dropped down and what the AI has done, but now he's looking to be capitalizing as much as he could with that soft tire right now. But looking at where he is, I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to make in goal.
Yeah, I completely forgot that King James was on the softs, but I think King James got another position back in P11. Now he's gonna charge through to fight at least for some good points, maybe back up to P7. That's the only realistic goal I see in this part of the race at this stage, unless there's a safety car. Which, if there's a safety car, I think King James has to. Well, does he opting to stay out? I wonder. We'll see
I mean,
if
he
that moment comes.
can do that. That's the only way for him to gamble and get some positions back. But again, the window for safety car is closing down fast. We just got 7 more laps to go.
Mm-hmm.
And like if it's the last 4 or 5 laps, we don't get a safety car. So the window for that is closing down rapidly.
Yeah, we still have SSJ out there, so don't worry.
Oh no. That was. I mean, I still couldn't believe it. How that incident looked so intense on the screen. It looked like Thanos was definitely going to get DNF, but somehow he's still surviving and he's driving around. Although in the last position, and I see Dark Knight is sizing up move on Deepanshu, just throwing all kind of shapes at Deepanshu. Deepanshu is unfazed right now. He's just going through that corner, but looks like the Dark Knight is looking quite racy right now. He's definitely going to be putting up move in the next chance that he gets.
Yeah, it's been a good race from Dipanshu. I say P19 to P7 through all that chaos definitely paid up for him, and he's definitely doing a good job defending against the other drivers. And now he just needs to collect his cool. Again, he has that 5 second penalty, which is gonna hit him a little, but he just has to be calm now. As we see, simply going for a move on Catty now. Catty being one of the other unfortunate drivers. I'm not sure what happened, but I saw Catty Strong being, you know, spun around in left field at least at that stage. So again, Catty trying to garner back his confidence and simply trying to make the most of it.
Yeah, Catty seems to be struggling slightly here and there in the Brooklyn's exit entry. He definitely went a bit deep that allowed Simply to have a peek in there. But looks like Catty has regained his composure now. Destroyer Drax seems to be struggling a little. He just lost some time through there, and Catty is closing up on him. And he's got the DRS now.
Simply's got to get a move as well.
Now Simply is going on the outside, and he's gonna make 2. Never mind, he just stops. But yeah, that was going to be way too ambitious if he's gonna go for Catty there. But Destroyer Drax pushing his car on the inside, but then decides to back out wisely enough because that would have really ended up really bad. So some good decision making, but all the Destroyer Drax losing 2 positions within a span of a corner. So that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt quite a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt him, but hopefully he can get it back again, like get his mojo back again, because he is a strong contender, and hopefully he can fight for that P5. As P4 is actually still on the card. Those guys don't have any penalties, and to be honest, I'm saying P5, but I see SSA has got penalty, so it's definitely gonna help them get one more position up.
Yep, this is the part that I hate doing mental gymnastics to figure out who's gonna end up where with all the penalties. So we'll just let the game decide that. But right now, like you're saying, it's one thing for sure that SSG is gonna drop a few positions.
Wait.
And now Simply is still pressing the overtake. He's gonna go for it on the inside. And that's contact from the outside, and that really bad for Simply. Thankfully, he just lost 1 position, but still, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, Simply just had a reverse Cops 2021. He got taken out.
And we just saw a message that Aradia has retired. Wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, I forgot to mention something. I didn't expect this, but Moto has pulled up a gap. He's got 9 seconds between him and Red. And considering the fact that Moto was on medium, I'm very surprised that he's maintained this gap. Considering that at this stage, I believe now the hards are the ones to play in, and I think 4 seconds maybe in the hands of Moto and that McLaren might actually get into it.
Yeah, I mean it could be, or maybe Red was just playing it a bit safe. I'm not really sure, but either way, it looks like Moto has definitely maximized the tire advantage that he had. So he's definitely pulled up a gap. So now it's on him to maintain that gap, and so far it looks like he's going to be able to do it. We've got 4 more laps. And I think it's looking like a done deal for Moto as it stands, if you're asking
me. Done deal for P1?
Yep.
I'd still say we have to wait 2 more laps. Maybe you're right. Maybe Red is saving pace, and if he is, then he might, if he's got a chance at
I
probably
mean,
like
if he's saving something,
second and a half.
now is the time to use it up. If you had asked me, no more. No. Oh wait, there's a
Versus
VSC.
safety car, wait, but that's
Okay.
not gonna help anyone.
Yeah, it's not gonna close the field up. It's just gonna slow down and throw up a few possibilities of DTs being thrown around by people not following the deltas. That's one thing that could happen.
I still wouldn't fit if I'm Moto. I don't think it's worth the risk, to be
No,
honest.
it's
First
not
seconds is good.
worth fit under a VSC. You don't know when it's gonna go green. He's now got the delta all figured out, so you just gotta stay out. Just wait for the VSC.
Avoid a DT.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing that's gotta be in his mind right now.
Yeah, I think at the same time I see Red was also fallen 12 seconds back, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe Red is. I saw it happen after the virtual safety car came out, so maybe he's like saving up on some of his delta to push at the very end of it. A lot of drivers tend to do that. Are we seeing 5-second penalty? Yay!
Yeah, some drivers really not learning the lesson after the first pit stop, doing that again on the second stop, Dark Knight getting another 5 seconds on his name. So that's going to drop him down even further down on this.
No, in all fairness, I will say this. As we see DRS enable back and racing is back up again. Dark Knight just did it once, so he did it properly the first time and screwed it up the second time.
Also, I think to be fair to Dark Knight, I think the speed limit board was taken out.
Yeah.
I think we just saw in that first pit when SSG was sliding and trying to avoid the wall. He just went towards the board, and I think that could also be a contributing factor here.
Yeah, report it, Dark Knight, report it. We have the camera angle for you.
Yep, definitely. That is something to watch out for. On the track, the Racing Hazards India, as you can see, it's green flag, and the Aston Martins are running close together, and Destroyer Drax is also in the DRS range. So, Catty seems to have some kind of a rhythm going on right now, but we did see him struggling earlier, and that questionable incident with Simply as well, which means that there's a potential penalty hanging over his head. So, I think that's going to be definitely playing in his head.
Yeah, that line from Ritesh out of Cops Corner was very weird and has completely invited King James for an overtake. As you see, King James are now getting the benefit of DRS. Will he use DRS to catch up? I don't think he is. He's saving DRS for some reason. Probably it's a strategy, but I think King James just doesn't want to risk it. He knows he's got the pace and he knows he's going to get Ritesh on the inside of this corner and he doesn't go for it. He's waiting for it.
It was still a fair bit of distance, so makes sense for him to play it a bit safe. But yeah, I mean, Ritesh is not using a lot of his DRS. I mean, not Ritesh, my bad. But yeah, Ritesh was definitely throwing some defensive shades at him, trying to break the slipstream, going to the other side of the track. But King James, what was that even? I don't even know what just happened. It looked like Ritesh was on an F2 car there with the way the braking was done.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ritesh braked way too early, and I think it just overshadowed King James's lunge on the inside. As we see Catty, I think what is happening here is, to be honest, I feel like SSJ is helping Catty with some DRS at this point, but Catty is now ahead of SSJ, and that makes sense because SSJ has that 8-second penalty. It's better if SSJ defends against the guys behind, so Catty doesn't end up losing position. And it's a rough game to play, especially if your SSJ is Assassin, but it is a game that you have to play with your teammates together.
Yeah, that did look like a team swap to me because SSG doesn't give up that move that easy on that entry. So it did look like some team games being played here. But what will Destroyer Drag do, considering he's in the medium tire, which is going to be, again, towards the end of his life, SSG is going to have a slight, I would say it's in the crossover point right now with the tire like this, ebbing in and out. But with the DRS and everything, it's going to be easy for him to, have an attack on SSJ. As he just saw, these guys still going at it, Ritesh almost trying to outbreak King James, but not really happening there.
Yeah, true. I think Destroyer Drax still has a lot more on his plate, and he knows he wants to get SSJ, but he's being very careful with it because, again, it's an 8-second time penalty. He can't rush with this. If he rushes with this, he knows that he could make a mistake. As you see, Dark Knight gets the fastest lap of 1:27.260, and he's still not in the top 10, so that wouldn't really help him get another extra point. But it's still
more
still
like speeding away the point towards going to get it. So yeah.
True. And we're seeing Destroyer track right now. Struggling a little, to be honest, under traction. He's only keeping himself in the fight with DRS in place, but for some reason he's definitely struggling on it in the corners. Maybe his tires are gone at this stage.
Yep, I mean that is definitely a possibility. Like I said, it's in the crossover point when the mediums are
Oh,
going to
okay.
slowly start fading away, and the hearts are going to have a slightly better
Wait,
arc right now.
it's the last lap, so I'm
Yep.
pretty sure Moto's about to win right now. As we
Well,
see,
we just now starting the last lap,
wait,
so Moto
okay.
is right now going through the end of sector 1, so he's definitely just pulling on his own league right now. This part is quite interesting, and we see Catty giving up the place to SSJ. I wonder what kind of team play is going on here right now. I don't really understand.
Oh my God! I hope it is what I think it is. Can Catty defend? It's gonna be a risky play, but 8 seconds is too much. Like he can't defend that much. It'll be Sergio Perez in Abu Dhabi.
I mean, it's just one lap. I'm not really sure what kind of a play that was, but that really did open up Catty for attack from Destroyer Track here. Also, you got to remember
Mhm.
Catty is also having a potential penalty on his head, which means that he could potentially be dropped down when the verdict come in. So yeah, that I still couldn't understand the logic behind that move there.
What penalty would that be? I forgot.
I think there was a bit of movement between him and Simply. I mean, I'm saying
Oh yeah.
potential
I
against
remember.
double quotes.
Yeah, definitely a potential for Destroyer Track to get a podium. But again, we'll see what happens as we see them rounding off the final corner. Moto gets wait 5 seconds.
Moto
And
has
so
won the
crazy.
race. Moto has taken the race win, and the penalty is not enough for him to get demoted. And Red is now crossing the line, and you see it's stunned. And Aston Martin's coming in P3 and 4, a really good showing on track after all that chaos. And Destroyer
Well,
Track coming in
yeah,
P5 but gets promoted to P4 courtesy of
before.
the SSJ's penalty. And SSJ dropped from
Yeah,
P6,
P6.
simply comes up in P5 after what could have been a much better result for him, but unfortunate. And Dipanshu comes up in P7 and drops down to P8 with a penalty. So you're going to see a lot more
Hmm.
of this name dropping down. The
Yeah,
penalties coming
definitely.
in.
That was a very weird penalty there. I've rarely seen that. 5 seconds for unserved penalty. What kind of unserved
It's just
penalty
the
that was?
penalty is being applied. That's it.
Okay. That confused me so much. I saw that for the first time. But yeah, definitely a good showing from Moto. He definitely did that race. A clean, simple race for him that has worked in his favor, and he's mastered that race brilliantly. Actually, coming from almost being quali banned to T1 is the drive that's possible in Silverstone.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to get quali banned, sprint race weekend is one of the weekends where it's okay to get quali banned because, yes, he still had a lot of work to do. He still had to have a clean sprint race, and of course, he had to do it on track. But still, what a performance that was!
Yeah, definitely. A good performance from Moto, and I think he'll be thankful that Helium had an issue today because with that 8 second penalty, I don't think Helium would have, given such a a clean gap to Moto. But again, it's all an ifs and buts in this world of F1 as we finally close up on Silverstone. One hell of a race, a lot of good moves towards the first and the middle half of the race. Probably got a bit more calm towards the end of it, but still a great race nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. Silverstone always delivers in terms of racing action, in terms of incidents, and we did see all of those happening. So yeah, that was a good race. Unfortunate for Helium though, we're not really sure what exactly happened there. But really unfortunate to see a contender getting dropped out like that. But with all said and done, Moto has taken this race win in quite a convincing fashion, even though he had a penalty on his name. So that's some really good racing from him. And Red coming in a very good P2 here and
Yeah,
P3 being catty. So yeah,
of course.
some good racing and good results for the guys here.
Yeah, and we're just sort of waiting for another one of our drivers here to pop up for P2, and then we'll continue with our podium interviews. But definitely a good race, one for the books, of course, and I think had some really good racing, especially that move by Dipanshu. Definitely one move that
Yeah,
I'll
that
etch in my
definitely
memory.
has got to go up in the socials. What a move that was.
Yeah, and amazing work. As we see our driver is almost ready for, uh, you know, that podium interviews. We'll definitely move on to it once we're done with this half of the results page. But coming to that race, I mean, apart from Dipanshu's move, what else did you think Deepak as move of the day?
I would say once again the move by Motomoto on lap one around the outside of Village and
Yeah,
Loop on Helium. Now that was definitely a standard move and
yeah,
quite possibly a defining move as well. If I mean, of course, yes, Helium was taken out in unfortunate circumstances, but if that did not happen, that could have been a defining move if you had asked me.
yeah. I think especially making that on helium must have felt good. But yeah, as we move now, we're gonna move on to podium interviews, and we're gonna start with, of course, P3, which will be Catty. I'll start this one. Catty. So again, at that race, I think if I'm not wrong, Scully wasn't great for you, and I think you had get a lot of positions up towards the sprint, I believe. But how was that race for you? Starting from sprint, the chaos in the sprint itself, and of course some of those contacts you had in the race as well, and moving up, with SHS Assassin towards P3.
Uh, it was it was fine. I mean, I didn't expect to be this have this good pace because I mean I don't really have the time to practice. So yeah, it was fun, honestly.
Yeah, that's great. Great to hear that. And it did look fun, to be honest, the whole race. And I think as a spectator, you probably had fun seeing people, fight around you as well. And especially you going for some moves as well. But while we have you here, I think there was a moment, Catty, with SSJ Tanish, and I think you were involved in it somewhat as well. I think you spun around at Lutfield. Could you recap on what happened there?
Yeah. So so Tanish tried to go down the inside and SSJ covered, and then they started moving back to the racing line, and Tanish spun out and hit the wall. And as he came on track, like his car, it ghosted at the last second, but by that time I'd already reacted to him, so I jerked left and yeah, kind of lost the car, but whatever. It's okay. It's a racing incident.
Yeah, and still you had enough pace to ended up making it back to SSJ. So that still speaks its volumes, I guess. But definitely a good race from you, Kat, and I think you'll enjoy that podium. A great performance. Anything from you, Deepak?
Oh, nothing from me. I think you covered it all. So yeah, congratulations on the podium, Catty. And well, yeah, well now I remember something. Yeah, so you had a bit of an incident with Simply. So just explain just what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, he went up the inside, and I'm not quite sure whose fault that was, but we'll see. I know there's a report coming, so let's see.
All right, all right. Yeah, congratulations on your result. And yeah, so great race, man. Great race.
Great. Let's move on to P2. Deepak, you can take charge of that.
Yep. Yep. Hello. Hi, Red. Do you hear us?
Yeah, yeah, hello.
Hey, yeah, congratulations on that P2. Must have been a good race. You had a really good sprint and a feature race. Of course, yes, sprint that I think that final counter collision was a bit of a uh, uh you know it was a bit of a speed breaker for your progress, but still you did really well to recover after that and come back in the race. So just talk us through your race and how the whole thing was for you.
I mean, after that last corner incident, I thought I was going into the wall, but I managed to save it and got P3, which was good. But in the race, I was expecting to get a P1, but Moto was really fast, man. In the first stint, I had grip, but ours just did not have grip. I was struggling to make any corners.
And
It was a lonely race actually, boring and lonely. I was just
yeah.
watching him Moto go into far corner. It's like Hamilton watching Max.
Yeah, we were rooting for you to close the gap, but yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, the grip differential was a bit too much to overcome that. But yeah, coming back to that little incident in that sprint race. So, I mean, we were not able to completely gauge as to what happened there. Like, so what exactly happened? Like, did you just lose your car on the traction or were you hit? Like, what happened there? Could you talk us through that?
No, so Helium actually lost his rear and he
Uh-huh.
hit me. So yeah,
Ah,
he
okay,
actually
okay.
had space. I tried to give him space, but his wheel spin. Yeah,
Yeah, unfortunate. Could have had a bit more points, but still, I would say a very solid result considering you got P3 in the sprint and a P2 in the race. So, some really good results. And yeah, hoping to keep your momentum going forward.
Yeah, GG's, man.
Yep. Great race.
Great.
All right,
So,
moving on to P1. So, Hap, why don't you take this?
yeah, definitely. I'd love to take this one. After two horrendous races, a quali ban on the top step of this podium, we have, of course, Moto. What a comeback race, Moto. How does that feel, that race?
Yeah, it's been a while now since I've been here, but yeah, that was a pretty satisfying chain of races there. The quali ban that also I sort of screwed up somehow. I DSQ'd by going in reverse in one shot quali, but for some reason it still put me in P60. So I did what I did thought was fair and just like let everyone behind me go before turn one. So hopefully that's a quali ban that counts as a quali ban because it's gonna be disappointing to like take another one. But yeah, that was a good sprint. Sort of made my way through the chaos. It felt like if you go back to the movie Cars in 2005, that opening shot where he's dodging all the chaos around him. Yeah, sort of felt like that. With people just spinning around around me, and yeah, I think it came down to P2 in the end. I would have gotten P1 if Caddy didn't do such a good job at bloody defending. Good job by him, but yeah, it was a good show of defense. And then I don't know what happened between Red and Eden. I think I just saw him go off. So yeah, I have no clue as to what happened in that. But yeah, it was a good sprint. The race was also good. Like it was just managing after the VSC. I was debating if I should pit or not, and I'm pretty happy that I did pit because the pit lane is so long, you lose a lot of time if you pit and then if you pit a bit later and then yeah, it's going to be hard to make up the time back again. So yeah, I'm happy I pit at that time. And yeah, the mediums actually, I don't know how, but like the grip was just not going. Like it kept getting faster and faster. Especially after 40% wear. So I have no clue how that works. But only on lap 25 and 6, I think I felt like, okay, the grip's gone for sure now. But every other lap, it was just like the tires were the same. So yeah, I think it really did. I sort of brought it into the window, right? If you could put it that way. So yeah, I was just smooth sailing in the second stint. Good battle was red in the first stint though. Bit of DR's chicken here and there, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, coming to the pit stops, an important thing, the 5-second penalty.
Oh
Can you
yeah.
explain what happened there?
Yeah, I think that's a glitch. I think if you ask a lot of people who got that, it pretty much is a glitch because I could have sworn, and I'll have a look at the recording again, but I could have sworn that it was in the green when I braked for the pit entry, but it still gave me a pen, which is a known bug. It's very rare and very arbitrary, so you don't know when it'll happen. But I think Red just took it a bit easy. Maybe he knew about that, and he just took it really conservative into the pit lane. But yeah, I sort of pushed it a bit, and but yeah, it was definitely in the green. So yeah, that's a bug for sure. But I think it doesn't matter because I think the gap is a bit bigger than 5 seconds in the end. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love the way you said it's rare, and then we see half of the grid get 5-second penalties
yeah,
for speeding in the pit lane.
I think it's a pretty well known bug in Silverstone. I think I was seeing some esport races a while back, a couple of months back, and people were getting penalties like that left, right, and center. So I had known, but I didn't know it was bound to
This
happen.
bad.
So yeah.
That's a good summary of your race, and definitely a well fought, well managed, a clean race in the end, and I think that's what you needed for this championship going forward. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I've been getting caught up in quite a few incidents here and there. Wasn't able to keep a cool head in round one at all. So yeah, and I just made a decision that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I won't defend too aggressively, and just play mind games with them and sort of patiently get my moves done. Not get all the moves done on under the braking. I wanted to get most of my moves done on the exit, which is the safest way you can get past someone. Uh, so yeah, it was just a matter of mindset and my approach. So it helped a lot. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Any questions for me, Deepak?
Nothing much. I think that was a very elaborate race debrief there. We had a lot of incidents covered, so I guess we are good here. And yeah, congratulations, man. Finally had a good race after
Yeah.
the last two tumultuous ones. So yeah, happy for you, and yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, congrats, Moto on that. As we're coming to a close on this, of course, stream itself, an amazing, amazing race entirely, and we're definitely loving Silverstone as part of our calendar. Probably should have it twice, twice a year, but no, that's just me joking around. But I think this is what we expected, didn't we, Deepak, from this race? Yeah, that's definitely what we expected. As we are gonna round out this session, are we facing some technical issues? Yeah, sorry, folks. I think we're just facing some technical issues right now. Deepak, can you hear me?
I think his net might have died. It's fine. You can wrap it up.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, luckily we finally got it. But yeah, definitely one hell of a race. And again, thank you all for joining us. We definitely love the support we get on the YouTube channel. And again, if you feel like you still want to continue racing, definitely pop into the Discord itself and come up, race with us, join our VC talk. We'll have a lot of fun. And again, if you like what you see, you want to see more, then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. This is, of course, HaphazardKing signing off. Bye bye.